let us learn about the project on architectural design while using AutoCAD. So, if you are very well versed with AutoCAD, you must be knowing it is a design software which is used to draw various drawings or plans in construction lines, civil drawings, mechanical drawings, and many more drawings. It is a software which helps you to convert your actual sketches or drawings, and you can just draw it digitally. So that is what is AutoCAD. And now I am going to teach you how to use AutoCAD as a software while using for your architectural design and planning. So let us begin. So what are the course objectives? The course objectives will be using Autodesk for planning. That is Autodesk AutoCAD for planning. So planning is something where you will be working out, sketching out, and just understanding what are the requirements you need, what is the basic idea of what your plan will be, and then coming down to something which you'll be executing and building it into a actual real building which will be used by some users. So this is where AutoCAD comes into very use, because when you are sketching something, it will not be as precise as a digital drawing, and AutoCAD is exactly what it is, that is digital drawing software. So where you can exactly draw your plans to very precise detail, make any details, make any sections, elevations, 3D in AutoCAD, and you can learn that. So as I said, you can also make the 3D of your plan in AutoCAD for conceptualizing how your building may look, and Microsoft Excel, which you need to know for understanding how to take out the quantities or how to quantify the material you might be needing after the plan is done. Once you are done with the planning and everything, you will be needing the basic code, which is the money, where the money comes in. So once your plan is ready, you know what you want. It all boils down to one point, that is how much money will be invested into it. How to understand how much material will be needed, how to understand how to calculate from the plan and your drawings that how much material is going to be needed, how much costing is going to be done, is where we come in and will be helping you with that. So these are the basic things you will be understanding and learning in this course. And most important, design and planning. How to start designing your own basic plan for your own small house, maybe. I will be giving you a basic problem, which is kind of planning or a basic design problem, where I'll be giving you a few requirements and you will have to plan a drawing or a building according to those described issues, or you have to comply with all the requirements, you have to comply with all the issues that are provided in the problem. So let us go forward. So what will you learn in this course? Of course, you will be mastering the skills of AutoCAD, since you will be using it efficiently. You will be mastering the skills of SketchUp. Now, SketchUp is also a software which will be used for 3D. So there are two softwares which we'll be using in this course. AutoCAD, I'll be teaching you how to use AutoCAD for 3D, but also how to use SketchUp for 3D and converting your AutoCAD into 3D, visualizing images or something like that. Learning about tendering, how to make tenders, how to understand what the quantity is, what you will be learning about the standards of designing. As you see, mostly the door height anywhere is same. So how will you know about whether it is same or not? How to check it? How to know if you got your house designed or your interiors designed? How will you know whether your interior designer or architect has followed the standards which you need and not made a fool of you? Architecture students. So who are the target students? Architecture students learning architecture, learning planning. This course will really help you, since these are the basic things which you'll be learning in your course in detail. So this will just give you a basic understanding of how it should be, and then some idea of how the practical problems are going to be, other than what is taught in college. Interior design students, as I said earlier, it will be the same for interior and architecture students, since for architecture you will be designing the whole building, for interiors you will be designing the plan of designing the internal parts of it. but still you will be designing something and you must know how to do it, how to use tendering. You should know the basics before entering into college or while you are in first year, just to understand what you're going to get into. Anyone who is into construction, like site supervisor, civil engineers, then quantity makers, they are already ones who carpenters, all people who are into construction business or construction management also. So prerequisites, the softwares which you need to be thorough with, or you at least need to understand that these softwares, basics of these softwares, to know what I'm teaching or to know the be up to date with what I'll be making you go through or what we are going to learn, is Autodesk AutoCAD, SketchUp, Microsoft Excel, and mathematics. Now, AutoCAD is where you'll be needing it the most, because if you, even if knowing basics will be okay, since in planning I'll be teaching you how to use some attributes of AutoCAD which can be helpful for fast planning or fast drawing. I'll be teaching you some shortcuts, something like that. Then I'll be teaching you in SketchUp how to convert those AutoCAD drawings into 3D. In AutoCAD also, I'll be showing you how to convert your drawings into 3D. And Microsoft Excel is where, once your plan is done, I'll be showing you how to take the quantities of it and insert it into AutoCAD. Now, that is one of the tricky parts. And mathematics, basically, just to understand how we have taken the quantities or how we have concluded down to the tender. So that's all. This is the basic introduction for the course on architectural planning and designing. Thank you. So, as we are starting with this, let us brush up with the basics of AutoCAD, which you need to know before starting the course. So, this is where you open a new drawing, and I'll be giving you a basic understanding of what shortcuts are, so that while designing or while drawing the CAD or anything will be drafting, you'll be fast enough to understand what the shortcuts are and go through it fast. So let us learn about some shortcuts very fast. Yeah. So R is what stands for R and enter. REC is enter. Enter is what starts for rectangle. D enter is where you enter the D is where you give it a point and then you specify that you want to give some dimensions. So let us take 10 meters by 10 meters. So this is the rectangle. Now same as for circle. C, I'll be attaching one file with this, which will be the shortcuts file, which you can download anywhere on Google. Actually, before me attaching it, you can download it anywhere from Google, and always keep it with you for your further assistance. That is, always know what all the shortcuts are. I will be giving you some other tricks also for using AutoCAD. So let us just brush up with what these things are: line, polyline, circle. If you are using AutoCAD, you must be knowing everything. This is where layers come in. Layers are very important part of your drawing. You will be needing a basic set of layers, which I'll be giving you. And for making a perfect plan, you need to understand the basic thicknesses of the layers or basic colors of layers, which are standardized. Either the colors can vary, but the thickness, that is the line weight, which is very important in planning. So in planning, whenever you cut a plan, you must understand that the walls are cut, which is the part which is cut, which is the part which is an elevation, how does it look, how it should look, which is all matters. So when you are drawing a plan, you must know that it should not look plain. So the basic of it is that whenever you draw a plan, it should be very, if you didn't understand what I did right here I went to the settings, and since I couldn't get the exact point here, I wanted to go straight, but as you are seeing, I couldn't get that point. I went and changed the settings of OSNAP, which is where you can get the point. I wanted all the points to be seen. That's why it helps us. So, whenever a plan is cut, the most important part of it is the walls should be dark, the furniture inside should be light, the doors which are cut should be darker. The windows should be a bit lighter. All these are line weights which you need to know and which you need to understand. And this can be managed very well with layers. Because once you have put everything into layer, you just have to give it that layer and it will always look in that same. And if you want to change the thickness, you can just change it inside the layer and it will be all done. So I'll be teaching you various layers which you'll be needing. Here is where you insert blocks for furnitures. This is where you enter the text here, which you will be making groups of it, utilities, measurement, calci, etc. Clipboard is where you can copy something and paste it. View is where you can make views, understand the view of which of the plan which you're making. Insert is where you can insert various things, set locations, hyperlink, PDFs, underlays, blocks, etc. Annotate is where the major WD or the working drawing part comes in. Working drawing is where you will be making the drawings so precise that they are good for execution, that you can give the drawings for execution. And whenever you're giving the drawings for execution, it is meant as working drawing. So for working drawing, you'll be needing dimensions a lot. Basic also you'll be needing dimensions, but whenever in architecture, for working drawings, you need dimensions. You need to understand how all the dimensions should be, how it should be placed, how it shouldn't be placed, are one of the standard points of architecture. Parametrics, this is also very important for WD and your annotation. So this is how the view will be considered if you have started into AutoCAD 3D. This is where you manage everything, recording, user interface, importing some important things. This is where you plot it. So whenever your plan is ready, if you want to print it and if you want to convert it into PDF, this is where you go. Add-ons is where you can add on points from Autodesk. These are express tools. These are very important. Many of these will be used by us for making beautiful plans, and just understanding how you can use small tricks into lowering your time to make a plan, or you can just be more skillful in your planning or software using. This is this featured apps or something which can be used in AutoCAD. So that's all. This is the basic brush up which I have done for you, just for you to go understand how AutoCAD will be. I'm just giving you a basic understanding of introduction of what AutoCAD is. So let us start with the basic problem which we need to start with. So since we have understood what the problem is, we can we can go further. So for starting any project, you need to understand the site first, where you need to build it. If you are into interiors, you need to understand the structure for which you are doing the interiors. So since right now I'm trying to explain you regarding the exterior or the complete structure design or planning and everything, you need to understand what site analysis is. Now this the presentation which I'll be showing you or I'll be explaining you is one of the examples which I have created. This was done for an hospital. So you can't copy the same, since I've added site requirements into it. You can't copy the same for the project we are working on, because that is a residential project. But still I'll be helping you out on to understanding how to take out or how to narrow down on what your site requirements are according to your problem or what your client requirements are. So this is the example of, this is one of the site analysis which we had submitted as a project for a hospital. So let us see what it was, and this is based on a location on an actual site study which we had done. So let us start. So as you can see, you should understand where the exact location is. Or if you are doing a presentation on your site analysis in your college or in your academic year or anywhere, even for your client, for them to understand, if sometimes in your professional life you might also get some clients who have come to you with the suggestion with, when they have not even bought the site. So they are like, we want something like this, so you can suggest us which site to choose. So you can suggest them what the requirements of site are. So that is the time when you need to already come, you need to take make a list of how what the site requirements are according to the client requirements for their design. So first of all, my location was on India in Mumbai Goa highway, Karnala Bird Sanctuary. It was near there. So there, here I have shown the exact site location from Google Maps. Here also same I have shown how it is connected. Since it is a hospital and it was on highway, I had to show how the site is connected. So this is a basic location plan, how where it is. Now you need to visit the site definitely. If there is a actual site which you need to work on, you will have to visit it. Without visiting the site, you cannot come to any conclusion. And if you are an architect trying to pursue architecture or interior designing, you need to understand first thing that you should always try avoiding to cut trees on the site. So whenever you go on a site, you need to first make a survey. You will have to take all the measurements of the site, and if the site has contours, now if you don't know what contours are levels of different levels of site, different levels of earth with respect to the sea level. So there, since there are, it is a not a flat land, there are some bulges, there are some, is there some drain there, you will have to study everything, you will have to make a plan out of it, you will have to make a site plan, proper survey site plan. So and also you will have to understand where the nearest transportation is, whether they need it, if they don't, how they were going to travel. Because since you are trying to select a site for them, or they have already, if they have already selected, it is of no use because it is already, they have already brought a site. But if you are suggesting them, you need to help them by finding out a site which has all of this into taken into consideration. Next is always take a context of what it is, what the site context is. So what is around the site. So if you are searching for a, since this is for a hospital, here I have mentioned how much the site is located from, how far it is located from the city, from both the cities, what is around the site, what is in front of the site, how it is going to affect it, which is the cities around the site, what is the population. Why population? Because it was a hospital project, we needed the numbers for it, we needed the approximate number of people for whom the hospital might cater. And the hospitals which are already in the cities which we are catering, which we are already catering, which we are trying to propose a hospital for. So these are for the hospitals. That is why it is a very wide range or a macro kind of a site analysis. But for a small residential one, you don't need to get into all of this. Since it is a detailed one, you I'm just explaining it to you to understand what you need to do when you are working on site design. Okay, so next is climate. So whenever you are working on a site, you need to understand where the how the climate is, how the sun path is. This is where I'm showing the sun path. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so this is where, so since these are the electric pole lines which go through the site. So if you have anything like that, you will have to survey it, you will have to take the exact points where it is on the site. And the green parts are the green circles which you can see are the landscape or existing trees. Existing trees play a very vital role, pivotal role in your site analysis, since you have to avoid cutting trees. You can't cut a tree and then design something. So if you have to cut the trees, you will have to work against how you need it. So basically, if you are trying to cut trees, if you are trying to alter your site according to your requirements, that does not mean designing. You can cut trees if there is no other option, but designing is something where you need to work on the constraints and create a very great design. So let us see how what is the next point. So this is where I've shown the wind directions. Wind directions are very important, since when you're working on a site, the position of the areas inside a room, inside the locations of some areas, should be according to how the wind is. So if the wind is coming from north southeast to northwest, you need to understand that they need something. You need winds inside the living room, you need wind coming out of the kitchen. So it should go from the living room and get out of the kitchen, so that the if there is something, whatever you're cooking, the wind shouldn't take it inside the house, it should take it outside the house, which will help. Because if you're whenever you're cooking, it will create heat, it will create some smells which can be irritating for some people. So you don't want that. So you need to place kitchen in such way that the winds help. Some people don't like winds inside their bedroom, so you need to place it that way. So this is where the winds work out, and you will have to work out where the wind is. You will have on the site, you will have to just check with the paper, the anything you can check, or you will have to study it online. You can get the basic average maximum temperature, average temperatures, average wind directions, sun path, everything on online. You will it is available. Now, since this is in India and in Mumbai, you must be knowing there is rainfall here. So you need to work out that too. How much rainfall the district has, what kind of soil it is. Soil type is very important, since if you are only into designing, the soil type will matter, but not that much as if you are going to work out the construction also. Since here the soil type was clay soil, it was very it was very volatile, it was not so hard, it was very soft. Because of that, if you make a load bearing structure on it, it will start sinking. That is why you need to study what the soil type is. So if you are into architecture or something, you must be knowing what the difference is between load bearing and RCC structure, load bearing structure and supported structure, something like that. So you need to work out that also. You need to also see whether there is noise pollution, how much noise is there. That you can work out according to what you feel or not do not feel. It all depends on what your preferences are, how much you need to study what the project is. And this is how you need to study the climate of the site and then decide whether you need a sloping roof. Now, if you have a very heavy rainfall area, you will need sloping roofs there. You will need gutters there. Sloping roof with gutters. You will have to make a rainwater harvesting option. You can give so many options. If it is not so rain, it does not have that much rain. If it has snowfall, you will have to make such deep. You will have to make sloping roofs, but with deep roofs for the snow not to get accumulated on the roofs. So you'll have to work that. You'll have to give some attic area. Site requirements. As I said, site requirements, this is somewhat I had worked out for a hospital. This is an example of how to take the site requirements. Now for residential, what you will I will be showing you how to take the site requirements in the next slide. But this is how you need to take the site requirements. For the hospital, I had to work out everything. I had to understand what the site requirements are, what you need for a hospital, what you don't need, what are the issues you need to take into consideration while working out that, and everything. So, and this is the final site analysis. Now, site analysis is something where you take all the things now that we have discussed till now into consideration and come down to these points. Now, since we had visited the site, we had studied so many points, the sun path, from where it should be, where it shouldn't be, how the sun path is on the site, where the trees are, On that way, you will give a basic proposal of how structure should be standing, how it should not be. And here I have worked out, since my sun path was from here, my winds were from here. Here I have given a basic analysis of how the structure should be aligned with respect to sun path, giving specific areas to shaded sunlight. So if you have a porch, you don't need, you will not like it if you have hard sunlight of a complete 12 o'clock noon hard sunlight which burns your body, burns your skin, to be on the porch. You need evening sunlight. You don't need, if you want to sit there in afternoon, you need shade there. And you would like to have a soft morning or evening sunlight there. So that is where you need to work out the sun paths. This is why you need to work out the sun paths. The windows and openings should be facing southwest. Since the wind is coming from southwest, you need the windows and openings to be on southwest and northeast. So it is completely ventilated. The structure should be aligned in a way from the electric poles. Since there are electric poles, you will have to take help of authorities and understand the requirements, how far the structure needs to be, how what the height of the structure needs to be from the electric poles. You can't decide it on your own or on basis of online study. You will have to confirm it with the authorities before working it out. Now the toilet must be placed in the northeast direction. Why this? Because when your wind is coming from southwest, it will get out from northeast. So if your toilets are placed in northeast, it is where the winds get out from. So from there, if you, even if you have an exhaust, when there is a ventilation, natural ventilation is always the best, and it will help you. The parking should be in southeast area facing the highway. Since the road is on the other side, you need to understand from where the exit will be, where the entry will be, and on basis of the trees. That is why I have suggested the parking to be on the southeast area. Now shady trees should be planted towards southeast and southwest. Why this? Because this part will be where the hard sunlight will be there. So you need to give such trees where they will provide sunlight. So if you are not able to change the location of something, you can provide trees, you can provide other options to provide shade in case you have no other option than changing the site or the location of the plan or something like that. So this is all of what we have understood from my example of what a site analysis should look like. Now I will help you to understand how to take down the requirements of a site according to the what your client requirements are. Let us start with what our site is. Right now I'll be giving you a hypothetical site, which is, as you can see, which is, now if you have understood, there are some issues in AutoCAD here. The dimensions are not according to my likes. So I'll just tell what the dimensions are. So this is 25 by 30 meters. So if you are working out in feet or inches, you will have to just convert it accordingly. So this is 25 meters by 30 meters of site. So you will have to understand how much space you need to leave from all the sides, and also where the roads are. So since this is a hypothetical site, I am suggesting the road to be on the front. Here it is. And in everything of the site, we have to consider where the north is. Now since we are working out on how to plan and all, and this is a hypothetical site, we will consider our north according to what our requirements are. Otherwise the north is always a given, and you will have to work out how the your plan according to the north and how the north is placed. Let us just read through the what their client requirements are, and then start working out how the site requirements will be with respect to what client is saying and what your site will require to change according to. So how the site will require to be changed according to the requirements of the client, design requirements. So as you can see, they have asked for an attic, which shows that they are not in area where there is more of rainfall. Attic is always mostly in areas where there is snowfall. So this will be in a region where it is snowing or somewhere. So the location can be considered accordingly. So therefore, a given is that let us start taking down what our requirements are coming down to. We will require attic, so acute sloping roof. So if you need acute sloping roof, what you will need is, let us start with bullets and numbering. Okay. So if you need a acute sloping roof, you will need that kind of offset or height, offset from site boundaries, and according to the attic height requirement, you will have to generate what the structure height will be. So if it is G+1, you will have to understand how much the complete height of structure will be. Okay, sorry. So let us go to the next point. Let us get this in the center. And its text height, we can change the text height. Just a second. I think one was enough. Yeah, so since we are working out this, it's okay. So let us get down to the next point. They love attic. Now we have understood what they are needing. So this will be some of the requirements for the design. So the corridor side spaces of at the north of the house are a bit of design challenge. Okay, not a issue. There isn't much privacy behind the front door because there's a lobby area before entering the house. Front door opens to the right, and the position of the gate means that they can look in on the principal rooms. So what they need is, on the site, they need the gate to be on the, they don't, right now their gate is on the front, right here. They don't want it to be on the front, so we can take it on the side. So we can take the site entry on the side, so that when you enter you have a driveway and your structure here and a garden here. So from the main living area you can look at the garden, you have a driving area, the garage can be here, so you can get inside from here. There's an entry from this side, you can park your cars here, and then it will be done. So this is how you will have to work it out. Now since I'm working on CAD and showing it to you, you will have to do this. Otherwise it is best and always preferable to work these things on a sketchbook with a pencil and a paper. So let us see what is next. Which side should be the kitchen on? We think it should be on the east. I have been in few houses facing south and they need the kitchen to be on the east. So according to the north, where the north is, we'll have to decide where the kitchen needs to be. Let us just take the north to be on this side. So definitely if the north is on this side, south, west, east. So east can be here. So from the kitchen you can see the gate. Something like that. You'll have to work this out. Now we can move to the next point. We haven't written down the entry point here. The entry of the site needs to be hidden from the principal rooms, so we can take the entry to the side. Okay, sorry for the problem. Yeah, since I was typing in side or the corner. So since you start analyzing what the requirements are and working out with the site in hand, you can start slowly come down to the plan, which plan we are coming under. So yeah, so we have come down to basics of how to take the site requirements down. So let us see the next point. The design brief includes this, that to provide garden views from the inside. So if you have so if you provide a garden here and a driveway here, okay, let me see if this works out as a driveway with garage or something. This can be the structure, this area can be the structure. Now these are the basic rectangles which I am drawing. This is what is called as space allocation plan or bubble diagram. Now since these are rectangles working on CAD, these are basic space allocation working sketches or diagrams. You can work the same out on sketching, and it is always preferable to sketch these things. Come down to a basic location plan, how you need, where you need the spaces to be, and then start working out on everything. So if you have your kitchen placed here inside the room, you can use this as the main garden, and then you can use this as the kitchen garden. This can be used as a porch for kitchen, this can be used as a porch for living room. So all of this can be worked out very beautifully when you are simultaneously understanding and analyzing the requirements and the site with respect to the client requirements. If the kitchen is going to be on the east, it makes sense to us that the garage will be as well. So if they want the garage and the kitchen to be on the same side, since here it is very difficult for us to have it that way, you can change it also. If you don't want it that way, you can change the kitchen location. So kitchen can be on this side and this garden can be taken on the other side. This garden can be taken on this side if you want. So and this will act as a garage. So if you're not understanding what I'm doing, the blue is the structure, green are the green patches or garden patches, red is the garage, this is the gray is the driveway. So let us go to the next point. So they have asked whether the garage will be set to the front of the house or set back in the garden. If it is set back in any design needs to be leaving adequate space for the car to get back to the house. I think we will let the architect handle that one. So they have some issue that if they have the garage on the back side, they need adequate space for the car to get back of the house. So since we are providing enough driveway, there is no issue for the car to reach there. Let us get to the next point. No issue there. So let's move to the next point. Are there any pieces of furniture? No. This all comes into interior parts, so we will get back to that later. There are some things I don't want to dictate design. Okay, so this is not required right now. So let us go to the next point. Aims and okay. They need modern house, not consideration into the site. Provide bedrooms for visitors who come for several days, but they are often time from overseas. Okay. To create more open plan living spaces downstairs. This all comes into the planning part. Two additional bedrooms, bathrooms, a study, a boot room, good size laundry, bike storage next to the boot room, smooth entry in with the bikes. Okay, so considering they have bikes, how many they have, and yeah, so you'll have to work out how much parking space is required. Okay, I think I have just worked out a smaller site with respect to that, with respect to the requirements they have. So let us see if we are not able to fit all of it into the same, into the small site. You will have to just go vertically higher. Nothing else. Nothing else will change. A kitchen, dining, family room would like a TV room, a computer room. Master bedroom will have separate dressing, no issues. Want to keep dining separate, more light from over the stairs. So, since we have decided the north, we'll have to check out the sun path here. What the sun path is. For sun path, you'll have to check out the location. Instead of getting into all of it, let us consider the sun path to be. Okay, since the north is here, it will be from east to west. So this will be the sun path. So we'll have to work out. So this will be the hard sunlight area. This will be the soft sunlight area. Again, this part will be the soft sunlight area. So when you have hard sunlight, it will be hard hitting from this side. So yeah, widen or move gate posts at front. So since we have worked out this, okay, let us just enter what the kitchen and how we have worked out the kitchen corner. Or okay, not now. So outside there, they need to widen the gate post. Okay, we have a big driveway now. Patio area to the back. So this can be added as a patio area. So let us give a patio area in the back. This can be considered as a patio area in the back. And landscaping needs updating. So this landscaping can be worked out later on. We can detail out on the landscaping part of the plan. What is next? There are 4 people inside the house, and they have many guests who come there to live frequently. So they need a piano space in the house. They all comes into the internal planning. We often have ride bikes to the school or work. They have 6 bikes and might get more. And they have car. Considering they have 2 cars and 6 bikes, we'll have to consider a parking according to that. Or we can consider they have 1 car. So according to these standards, a car parking size is always taken as 2.2 meters. Now I'm entering the dimensions in mm. So 2200 mm by 5200 mm. Enter. So this is the car parking size. If you have some issues with regarding to what the sizes should be, you can refer the book set as Newfort's. Since I've just shown the areas accordingly, you can change it according to the what the sizes are coming out to be. So it is not bound that the rectangle I have made will fit in everything. So since this is like this, we'll have to work out what is the parking needed for a bicycle. According to me, it is 750 or 900 D, sorry, 900 mm, which is 0.9 meters by 2.7 meters. So this can be for the bike. So you can consider how the parking will be fit into here. Considering 4 people are having 6 bikes, this is enough. So this is not exactly what I'm trying to explain, but you'll have to understand how to. So these are the basic site problems we need to understand. I will be providing you with a site which will help you understand how. Okay, since I'm providing it right now, we are just working out on how to get a site, a hypothetical site, into consideration. This is how you work out site requirements. Now, these are very small, simple, basic requirements we have come down to with respect to what the client needs. So now, considering if they don't have any transportation around, they might need some sitting area in the lawn here. So you'll have to take that into consideration. If they have an extra guest parking, you need that too here. That will also need some thinking. So, yeah, that's all for to get down to site requirements according to the client requirements. Now, let us get back to what site exactly you have, how the wind directions are. We will get down to what the site location is. We will just come down to some site location which we can hypothetically get back to. I'll just work out exact site requirement site. I'll give you a basic what exact site you have with north, with sun path, with wind directions, and then I will suggest how this will change according to the wind direction, according to the sun path. Welcome back. Right now, I have taken out a site. Now, this is somewhere in Canada. Please don't get on to me for the location of the site. I have no idea where this is. I have just taken out a area just for you to get to understand how to make a site analysis. And since this is a snowy area, I have considered Canada. Whenever you are working out on a site, just get into Google Maps, go to Google Maps, Google the site, reach the location, enter the site where the site is. You can see where your north is here. Exactly. Here always the north is placed upwards. So here you can see the north is upwards. So if our plan is like this here, if our rectangle exactly places like this, so our north will be here. So accordingly, we will have to change our north. This is up, and this is somewhat like this. Please understand that this is just an example, just an hypothetical example. I'm not making something for anybody or anything. This is just for academic understanding how it should be considered. So, since I can't go there and survey anything, or if you have a site which you can't visit, you can use Google Maps and trace out the outlines. Now, I'm not doing it since I have no idea what this exactly is. Now, this looks like something with contours, that is why I'm not considering this site completely too. I'm just showing you a site for you to understand how to understand what the site is. So if you can see there are trees here around, you can place your site exactly and then work it out. So you can place your rectangle on the site. So for this you can just take an image of the site and then work everything out. If you want, we can just go through something else, or the site, we can change the site location if you want, but it is best that we don't do that. Yeah, so I have zeroed down to this. We can consider this only. So since the north is on the other side, to understand what the climate is here, okay. Okay, let us, instead of doing this, we can go to somewhere else. Since I'm not familiar with Canada or somewhere, we can go to Kashmir, which is in India, and then search for a site here, which will be much easier for me to understand or consider. Just search a site. So let us select Dalhousie. Instead of going anywhere else where you don't know and getting into trouble for somewhere you don't know, for a country you don't know. It is always best to consider something which you are familiar with. So you can just search like this and get zero down on any site you want. Any site. because it is a site which you will be needing just for academic purposes. During your thesis, you are considered to take a site which you can work out on. Now, there, the issue is that when you are providing your thesis, you need to be pretty specific on what you are giving and how it is considered. So, let us search a site for us right now. This looks like a very good area. Yeah, since we can see there are many structures placed here around, we can consider this rectangle as our site. So, unfortunately, we will have to change our requirements again. Sorry. So, this is somewhat like this, and our north will remain the same since it is the same. One more thing, I have changed the site dimensions from 25 by 30 meters to 30 by 35 meters since the requirements need some more space, might need it. And when you are working out on some design in the very beginning, you should get some more space for you to work on. As you proceed in your designing course, you will have as many the site constraints, the requirements will increase, and then you will be in a soup how to design. You will be stuck. That is where I'll be coming for help to you. Right now, I'm just giving you an example of how I'm giving you a lot of space for you to design since you are in the beginning of the course. And you need to understand the basics of designing first for considering anything. So let us just get down to this. So let us consider this as the rectangle for our site. So this is the road. These are the basic things. There are some trees around. We can place them here. So for that, we can just take an image of this and place it inside. Or you can just place it side by side and then, yes. Since this is our rectangle, this is our side, we can place our trees here accordingly. Since there are big trees here, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the big trees here. There are some trees here also. There are some trees here also. One here and one here. Some small trees, some big trees. If you are feeling that the trees might act as some constraint, what you can do is you can just either doing this or you can just trace it out. Copy it since we don't have any permissions to copy anything from Google Images. We are just looking into it and then copying it. So some might go out of sight, some might be inside the site. So these are the trees around. So this is how the trees will be. Since this is the north here, this is the north. We will have to now go to the next point, that is understand what is there around the site. As you can see, there are some restaurants around the site, so there is no issue. So one more thing you will need, if there are restaurants around the site and you are designing for a family, you need to consider how the privacy is kept into count. So you will need a very good compound wall. So some considerations with respect to the site requirements have come down with respect to the context. So because of the context, restaurants around, you need now let us just make this small. This will be small so that you will be able to read what I'm writing here. Because of the restaurants around, you need the security, that is the compound wall to be very secure or strong. The height of the compound wall should be so much that a person from the restaurant, from the road, since there are restaurants and hotels around, there'll be a lot of chaos there. They shouldn't be able to get inside your house, get into your privacy. So they shouldn't be able to see inside your house. So height of the compound wall should be enough to hide the house or provide adequate privacy. For that, you can also let the trees remain. You can also give trees around the site for maintaining privacy. So these are the basics. When you start working out so when you have restaurants around, you need to take these things consideration into the site, into the requirements. So yeah, so now let us get to the wind direction. The wind is from northeast to southwest, and you have to put it here. So where is northeast? So it goes like this. The winds are like this. If you have understood what I'm doing, I'm putting everything into the side. So since it is written here, the wind is from the northeast to southwest. Now one more thing to understand is, whenever you take north into consideration, if you're using it in the site, always take it to the center of the site and then put the sun path, wind. So this is the wind direction. So the sun path will be from here to here. Just load a sun path. It's one of the easy ways to work out. Okay, I think it was not selected. So this is the sun path. As you can see, this area will have soft sunlight, this area will have hard sunlight, this area will also have soft sunlight. So the porch area can be taken here and here. This can be considered as the garage or any area which can be shaded. So now we have come down to the climatic, how it should be here. Okay. So how the climate conditions are, how the climate will affect the design according to the site. So these requirements will be have to taken into consideration while designing your bungalow or your project, whatever you're working on. So right now, since we are working on the residential project, this is will be considered as a site for us, and you can't work out like this. So you'll have to take this, copy it, make a group of it. Always take these things and overlap everything for you to understand. If you want to know how what I'm doing right now, I have taken this, I have made a group of it. Since we did it according to the north, keeping it upward, I just made a group of it and rotated it with reference line to make it exactly 90 degrees. So this will be the north is this side. Road is down. Now these are the design instructions which were given by the client, right? The things we took into consideration because of the design instructions and all. So they need garden here. That can be considered easily. The point of garden can be taken easily. Garden can be worked out here easily, so that is okay. They needed a driveway here. A driveway is very easily workable here. Please do not take the rectangles which I am drawing as the proportion of the design. It will be changing definitely. This can be the garage here. There is no issue since it is anyways it is the part where the sun rays are the highest. It won't be a issue at all. We can give driveway big enough for them to understand to take all the cars for a guest parking too. They needed a porch here since this area has soft sunlight. Yes, you can get a porch there. You can get a porch here easily. You can get a kitchen garden here easily. Okay, since they needed the kitchen to be on the east, kitchen can be on the east. And kitchen garden can be on the in front of the kitchen. So there will be adequate shade always there. Yeah, the color is making it dull. So this can be the basic understanding the kitchen and everything. They want the kitchen garden here. Your porch area or patio area can be accessible from the kitchen garden also. You will have a basic parking. You can give a small parking space or workspace for the garage for them to just for the boys to work here here in the patio area. So this is how you come into take everything into consideration. The site, since we have taken a hypothetical site, we will I will get an image of it too. Since you can visit the site, there will be some issues, but if you have understood how we have taken the context into consideration, how we have taken all the climatic conditions into consideration, the wind directions into consideration. So since the wind is from this side, okay, yeah, one thing we have not taken into consideration is snowfall or rainfall. Mostly people in India also consider Vastu or Feng Shui. Somewhere outside it maybe outside India it will be considered as Feng Shui. You can take these things into consideration, but since in design the architects won't always like taking Vastu into consideration, we won't. And right now we have come down to basics of how we need the how the site is, how the basic location of the macro parts of the design will be, that where the garage is, where the entry is, where the garden will be, how the structure will be, is basically understood. Now we can go further into the detailing of the design part. Since we have already taken the site analysis, we are done with the site analysis, we know what we exactly require here, how what is to be taken into consideration, how we have come down to we have analyzed the site completely. So we can start with our designing part soon. So thank you.